Okay, so marker. Let's try that again. Let's start the recording off. This is a video in response to niece name, I think that's how you pronounce it, on YouTube. 11K subscribers, 40 videos. I don't know how many he has now. I watched this video probably like 20 hours ago, like a day ago. So in his video, he talked about the idea of kind of like minecart rail systems and what goes into minecart rail systems and how to make them work, and having like a train ticket decoder type thing. And he's like, if anybody's ever done anything like this, I'd love to see. And so I just want to show off my system that I built back in 1.14. I don't remember what year that is. Feels like forever ago that 1.14 came out. So this is what I've got. So this is a system that shoots off minecarts at the same time to kind of keep them close together. And it's done using this button. And they shoot off. They stay pretty close, but on longer rails they do get spread out. And it goes off and they come back in the system in the same order that they left. And this is a 3 minecart system, and that's pretty much how it works. This is my original design for the station. Pushes the minecart over. This block is powered. It detects the block has come. It has been shifted over, and it powers this observer. It goes around, powers this block. Blocks behind the minecart, shoots it off in the direction. Pretty simple. And this is the design I came up with after a lot of testing that I've destroyed by now. And so here's a bigger version of it. It's a 4 minecart version. The player sits in this one, and they all get shot off. This one doesn't have another parallel station. Instead of it has this intersection. So it's an auto intersection, and how it works is this last minecart is given blocks. Go find some stone. Put some blocks in here, and then it goes around the system and it decodes the intersection. If there's no blocks in the system, the intersection, the minecarts will come to it, and they'll just go in a circle forever. So you gotta remember to put the blocks in the system. And these are coded to stone, and in a real version they're going to be coded to, or they were coded to, named cobblestone, because cobblestone's pretty common, and naming means that only the named items can come into the system. So the minecarts are going to be pretty close together when they come out of the system. And I'm gonna put 5 in here, and then I'm gonna explain what 5 does, and then I'm gonna demonstrate. So it comes out here. It's gonna trigger this item filter, which is gonna send a signal out, and it's gonna power this thing. It's gonna flip this, so it's gonna flip this over. So if the they go out if you have one piece of stone in that last cart. This is gonna get flipped. All of the minecarts are gonna come around the intersection and they're gonna go out over here, and when it goes over this, it clears the system. So when it goes over this, what is this, detector rail, it's gonna clear the system. And how it does that is it makes sure that this dropper is empty. So when you got one item, it's gonna all the minecarts are gonna go in, go around, and come out. When you got two items, they're gonna come in, they're gonna drop one here, they're gonna drop one here. And what happens is it's gonna get dropped in here. This comparator is gonna see that there's an item in this dropper. This is gonna be, actually before that, this is gonna be flipped. So now the minecarts can exit this way and they can exit this way. But since there's an item in this dropper, this comparator is gonna clear. It's gonna detect it. It's gonna go through. It's gonna clear this, and it's gonna flip this back. So they're gonna come in, gonna drop off. That gets flipped, and then drop off here. This one gets flipped, and then this one gets flipped back. And if you have a third one, this one gets flipped. That one gets flipped back. And so if you put an item going in, this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So if I want to go out this end, I would put 3 in here. So if I put 5, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's going to come out this way. So demonstrate. They got all pushed out. They're pretty close together. You can hear the system working, and then we all go back to the station. And they all come in the same way they came out. So this is my intersection and station. So this is the big version. It's using Minecart Stystem. It's using the intersection, and it's got this thing, and so I have them loaded in here. And since I'm not writing in, it's a minecart chest, because minecart and minecart chest actually are different on the rails, so they go at different speeds. So I'll explain that later, like why that's important. But if all 4 of them together, they go pretty well together. This first minecart that gets ejected out of the system is slower than all the others, and I'm not really sure why. Like, I've tried to fix that problem for a while, but I don't know. And since this is like a full intersection, I can put any number of items in there, it'll work. So I'll send it off. The other get pushed out. These ones are pretty compact. This one lags behind, but it's the same distance behind, so it works. And they all go out this way, and for some reason it broke, which was unexpected. That usually doesn't happen. What's wrong with this? I was probably trying to fix it or something. But I don't know what's wrong with that station particularly. Dang it, I'm breaking stuff now. Is that it? Yeah. My demonstration is not going as planned. Okay, so if we start off from this station and we go to the one across, it should work. So yeah, if I put 3, it should go across. This one lags behind quite a bit. You can see those flip back and forth, and then it goes into this, and they all go back to the right places. And so that's how it works. And it does take a little bit of time for these to reset, but you'd have to like dispense them out, and they have to go around the thing. And so like that's not really a problem. And this resets automatically. Like I pretty much figured it out. They all get dropped. Eventually the items will despawn. So I figured this all out, you know. Shoots them out. One of them kind of lags behind, but they all stay together. If a player is in this cart, then the player cart kind of lags behind with this one, and then the two of them are out in front. So you get kind of like these two pairs of carts, but they pretty much maintain the same distance unless you are on a long stretch. So when I was going to build this in my survival world, I was going to put in like these recoupler stations that are just automatically kind of regroup the minecarts, and I never built that in this world, but I've done enough with all this that it's a pretty easy thing to do a regrouper. So I built all these things. I'd figured out all the kind of the quirks that go into this. See this station. These rails automatically point towards a certain direction. So if you want a station, you know, if you're coming to a station this way, then on this side, since the rails are now reversed, because you're coming in a different direction now, these have to be hard powered and then triggered off with observers. And so I worked out all the kinks in, like, these need to be powered, and then over here they don't need to be powered. And same with this, like you can see that half of this uses one design and then half of this uses a different design, and these are hard powering these and these aren't. So I've done all that work to figure out how to kind of work within how the game works with the minecarts, and I made a system where they dispense at the same rate, and I knew that I would need recouplers. I call it a recoupler to just get all the minecarts back together, and every so often I'd have an intersection and they'd go off on a different line. And so this is what I built in survival. I've torn it down because it didn't work and I was frustrated. I actually tear down the station, but the station doesn't work. But I tore down the two intersections I built. And so this is the working intersection. So the reason why I never put this to work in my survival world, that's a 4-way station, this is a 3-way station, is a bug with minecarts that has nothing to do with how I built this. Like, it has something to do with how a survival world thinks about minecarts versus a creative world. Creative super flat obviously requires like less CPU. So when I'm doing all the testing here, it works, but in survival it's different. And what would happen is when I filled the system up with the minecart with chest, this automatically, how this works is it automatically unloads the minecart with chest. It would come down this divot, so it'd pull out all the items, and then as soon as it's empty, it would continue on back into the thing. And then down below there's a chest to access your items in a whole storage room. So it's like transportable storage system, which is pretty cool. But it's like transportable storage system that you can build like a station like thousands of blocks away on the other side of the world. So what went wrong is I would fill this system up in survival. I would press the button and they would all come out and they would all be going the right way, and they would come to this corner right here, and they would stop. Like this minecart would stop, they would bump into it, they would go back over, like there's no rail here. But that's easily fixed. Like you press the button again, the rail moves over, and then it picks up the minecart and shoots it off again. So kind of fixing the system without like breaking the minecart chest was easy, but I could never get it out of the station. The minecarts would all come and this one would stop dead on this corner, and they'd never actually leave the station. Eventually I figured out that they're going too fast and when they come to this corner, so I slowed all this down. I basically took out all these powered rails. They all had just a single powered rail. They were all moving pretty slow along these tracks. I needed to have like one powered rail to kind of keep them close together, but as soon as it got over to this other one here, they would stop again. And so I put like a whole year. I was doing school at the time. I'm still doing school, so kind of like a whole year trying to mess around the system, trying to make it work. It just wouldn't work. It was frustrating. I'm trying to work around as many bugs as possible, but I'd spent like so long in this system that it never quite worked. This is all vanilla. This is all unmodded. Built in 1.14. Still doesn't work in 1.19. I tested it again in 1.19.4. It didn't work again. I just tore it all out. I'm going with a different design. Kind of fed up with it. And so yeah, that's sort of what I came up with. System works great in creative. Doesn't work in survival. It's really annoying. I spent a long time on this. It's what made me quit the game. Like the first time I quit the game. Like they stay pretty close together for a pretty long while, even on longer stretches like that. But as soon as you put a character in, it messes up the whole thing. If I sit in this, I can't actually read the button because I don't know why. Because I never made this system. That broke it. I mean, you'll still go to the same place. You can just do it with 3 if you want. But yeah, the player lags behind and it kind of butts up against this. So you have to have like recouplers. Yeah, so like this not working like led me to quit the game. And I didn't pick up the game until 1.19. And I'm not even really working with minecarts anymore. It's not really what I want to do. And I'm building stuff. This is a dumb thing I built. I'm doing more just building. This is kind of the new station. I built kind of like a house on top of it. I'm not doing this grand thing anymore. Those are going to be really rare, far between. It's like, because single player, it takes a long time to build anything. Yeah, this is just the new station. It's just a 4-way stop with kind of like a rail that doesn't stop going one direction, but if you're going the other direction, it does stop, and you can get out. So it's like a monodirectional rail, and how it's gonna work, it's gonna be like a lattice. Like I built this lattice work, and so one rails go quick one direction, they go quick the other direction, but they're gonna stop you at every station going back, so you can kind of get fast going places, but not really. And so in this quadrant, like these are the rails that go straight, and then these cross rails are the ones that stop, and then going this direction, it's going to be those rails that are going straight, and then these cross ones like this way are going to be the stoppers. But yeah, it's really disappointing that the system never worked. I quit the game for 5 versions of the game, which it was like 3 years or something. And yeah, kind of disappointing, but it works. It works great in creative. That's the story of my minecart station.